Hello, folks. We're back. I'm back. Oh, I forgot to do the voice. Hi, folks. I'm back. After a long hiatus, we're back. This is Mindful Metal Jacket. I'm Joe List. I look like this. It's a bummer. The teeth, the forehead, the hair, the glasses, the jawline. You don't have to tell me. I know. I'll take my own life someday. But first, here's the new episode of Mindful Metal Jacket, and I wanted to come back with a bang. You know, I took a few weeks off. People were like, is the show over? Is it dead? No. I went out and found the guest that everyone's been clamoring for. Top dog. This is the one that blows it up. Sure, we had Colin Quinn and Stavros Halkias and Sam Morrill and Matteo Lane and some successful woman, I'm sure, Karen Fian. But how many podcasts are going out of their way to get people who aren't in show business or experts in anything at all? Completely unknown. Is she funny? No. Is she smart? Absolutely not. Does she have any expertise? Zero. Was she in my house the day I needed an episode? Absolutely. We're here with my friend Erica Walsh. Who, you say? Exactly. We're doing something different here. We have talentless nobodies as guests. I'm kidding, of course. I'm half serious. This is a great episode. It's good to have you back. I'm glad you're here. Don't just skip because it's not someone you've heard of or someone that is entertaining whatsoever. This is a good old-fashioned mental health conversation, and we wanted to get someone that's like you at home. Who cares? You can't relate to a comedian. The comedian's up here. Oh, I fly first class every day all over the country. You want somebody that's working a job. Well, she doesn't have a job, but raising children at home, good old-fashioned actual anxiety, stress, salt of the earth. This is my friend Erica. She's a great guest. We talked all about being anxious, general anxiety disorder, growing up with alcoholic parents. We talked, some other stuff. Nervous all the time, upbringing, therapy, some other stuff. I can't remember. I haven't slept in months, but it was a great episode. And Erica is one of my dearest friends. She started off as my friend's wife. Now she's one of my close friends. We go back a long time. We told some very funny stories. This is a funny episode. And we talked about parenting, of course. And I have known her. We just passed our 15th anniversary of friendship, folks, last month. How about that? 15 years. I've known her longer than I've known my wife, which is wild. Well, actually, I think I met my wife first, but I've been friends with her certainly longer than that. And there's some really funny stories and a lot of relatable stuff. And of course, I was dropping pearls of wisdom, and as was she. It's a great episode, and so I hope you enjoy it. And tell some friends about it. You got to subscribe to the show, spread the word. Tell everyone you know, leave a comment, like it, share it, put it in your Insta stories, put it on Reddit, put it on Twitter, all that crap, because it's the only way for these shows to grow. But it was a really fun episode, I think. And it's a little different. And Erica's just the best. She's a wonderful all-time mom, all-time friend, very funny, and you're going to really enjoy it. So make sure you do all those things and buy some tickets to a show. Go to punchuplive.com. All my dates are on there. Tacoma. Erica will be there. You can go meet her after you watch this. January 11th through the 13th. And then I'm in Poughkeepsie, New York, January 19th and 20th. I think I plugged these dates at the end of the show. I can't remember. And Austin, February 8th through the 10th. That'll sell out. Make sure you get those early. Fun special guest on that one. And thank you for being here. And there's Sarah. Look at that. Guest appearance by Sarah. Say hello, Sarah. Hello. Next week's episode is Sarah. So Sarah's looking fly. I'm so glad she's not nude. I would be happy to see her nude. I don't want her on the YouTube nude. You guys get it. Anyways, that's it. This is the episode, and enjoy this conversation with one of my best friends, all-time BFFs. I don't know about the third F. The second F. If they get divorced, that's the end of our friendship. Let's be honest. Anyways, that's it. Enjoy and have a couple laughs and be kind to yourself, be kind to each other. My father's gay. What?
I just got nervous.
You're great. We got to hold the mic up. Okay. Get it right in there.
Right there?
You're nervous. Folks,
nervous.
We are here with a non-comic, non-actor, non-writer, non-anything. Literally no occupation.
Just a mom.
Just a straight up mom. First episode ever. And you thought we had weak comics with no following. We had a bunch of bums you never even heard of. We're going lower than low, folks. We're going outside of industry. This always fascinates me. How do you have who are these 500 people?
Just people I know from high school and mom friends, and that's kind of it.
We got to come out flying because people are going to be like this.
Boring.
Sorry. But it is always interesting to me when people that are not in show business are on Instagram and they have like 790 followers. I'm like, that's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people. Well, I did, before I was just a mom, I did like my own little salon business.
Oh, right.
Business. So I have some old clients that are still following me.
Now, you did the sewing the eyelashes on.
Eyelash extensions, yes.
Yeah. Now, how do you feel personally about the eyelash extension? Looks what? Like, you think it's good?
Now I'm kind of don't think it looks that great anymore.
I hate them. They look like Muppets. I feel bad. I've never had the heart to say this to you. It's like crazy. I see women with them and they look so, they're like physical. They look like material. And then they're like, and I know a lot about material, folks, 3 specials in 3 years, but they're like this long. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, mine were not that crazy.
Okay.
Because I'm a mom, so
right.
Just regular.
You got to go mom lash.
Yeah, mom lash.
But I've been over there a couple of times. It was exciting. I would pick up the kid over there, and it's exciting because it's all a bunch of broads.
Yes.
And then, do you remember the first time I went there? I had just flown in. I was in my sweatpants and like a hoodie, literally like hood on because it was raining. And then these people have never seen me, and I just went and picked up your kid, and all the
Brooke,
beautician
I think
ladies.
she was like 5 years old maybe at that time.
Yeah, and all these ladies are like, there's some fucking hobo piece of shit with cum stains and sweatpants trying to take your kid. And I was like, all right, take care, ladies. That was funny.
That was funny.
Anyways, this is Erica, and I will have given you a big intro.
Okay.
Yeah, and you're nervous. Are you nervous?
Yes, very much.
And you told me earlier you're nervous all of the time.
I am. Probably like 95% of my life I'm nervous all the time.
So you just have you ever been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder?
Yes, I have an anxiety disorder.
General anxiety disorder?
Anxiety disorder.
Yeah, GAD.
And mild depression.
Just mild?
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
And when did you get diagnosed with these things?
Like 5 years ago. See, I'm getting nervous. 5 years ago.
Oh, just relax. Just you, me, and Lex here.
Yes. No. 5 years ago.
Don't worry about the thousands of people judging you currently.
5 years ago, I had actually a pulmonary embolism, double pulmonary embolism.
Yeah, this is funny because I know about this, but we haven't talked that much about it. What the fuck is a pulmonary embolism?
It's blood clots in your lungs, and a lot of people die from it. It's like kind of, it's just like a blood clot that gets stuck in your lungs, so then you can't breathe. And mine, they think, is from birth control I was on at the time.
Right.
And I couldn't breathe. I thought I was actually just having like a panic attack for like a week. And my mom friend at the time, Laura, she had just been put on anxiety meds at that time. And she was dealing with like panic episodes and stuff. So I was asking her, I was like, well, what did it feel like? How long did it last? And she's like, oh, usually like 30 minutes to an hour. And then I felt like I could breathe again. And I was like, oh, I've been feeling like I can't breathe for about 7 days. But I just kept brushing it off as like, oh, I'm just having a panic attack. And then Derek and I went on a date that night, and we had the kids at our friend's house, and I was walking across just like a flat street, and I couldn't catch my breath. I had to like sit down. I was like, I think I should probably go to urgent care, but we'll do it after the date. And Derek said, no, why don't we just go do that now? If you need to go to urgent care, that's urgent.
That's good.
So we went and ended up going actually to the ER, and about like 10 minutes later, they're like, you're not leaving and you have a blood clot. And I was in the ICU for like 4 days. God damn. And then after that, my anxiety really went like full throttle. And then I actually, a couple months after that episode, and I was on like medication for a while to be under control, but I kept thinking that I was not breathing and was having another embolism.
But then it was actual anxiety.
That was actual anxiety. And I went to the ER because one day I would like couldn't feel like I couldn't breathe again. And I went to Rite Aid and did like that blood pressure cuff thing.
Yeah. I know the cuff, believe me.
And it was like high, like danger zone.
Oh, Jesus.
So then I went to the ER, and as soon as they took all my vitals, and she's like, I don't think you have anything happening. And then it just all went away. And I was like, oh, I can breathe again.
Right.
She's like, you have anxiety. Go see your regular doctor.
Yeah, no, I've been there with that thing. Never the blood clot thing. But so how was your anxiety before? Were you an anxious child?
Not like, I wouldn't say anxious, but like a nervous kid, just a regular nervous kid.
It's hard. It's hard to know.
I don't know how to explain, like, I don't know what's normal and not, I guess.
That's the thing when you're a kid, especially, it's hard to know what normal is. Nothing feels normal, but I think you always feel abnormal. Don't you as a kid? Or maybe that's just me.
No, I think I always think that everyone else is normal and I'm not normal.
Well, this is like the quote I was just talking about the other day. We're always comparing our insides to everyone else's outsides.
Yes.
Is that good or what?
That is very good.
That's
very
good
wise.
stuff.
Yeah,
well, I didn't come up with this. Thank you. This episode of Mindful Metal Jacket is brought to you by Factor. Oh my goodness, you've got to try Factor. We were just talking about it yesterday. I was talking with my friend Erica and my wife Sarah. We love Factor. If you want, you're busy, it's the holiday season, you're overwhelmed, the family's coming, you got to buy the gifts. Amazon's ringing your doorbell every 30 seconds. You got to go to the mall. It's snowing, it's cold, it's warm, climate change. I don't know what it is, but you got a lot going on this holiday season. It is important to save time where you can with Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. Saving time in the kitchen is a total breeze. Factor delivers chef-prepared, dietitian-approved meals straight to your door. They're always fresh, never frozen. Just heat them up. 2 minutes, dinner is served. I know our guest this week's got kids. It's not easy to cook. She's, inept as a person, and so is her husband. So she needs Factor. You need Factor. Choose from over 35 weekly meal options, including awesome breakfast options like apple cinnamon pancakes. ACP. Are you kidding me? That's my agency. Apple cinnamon pancakes, bacon and cheddar egg bites. I'm getting hungry right now. With so many options, there's something everyone in the family will love. I love Factor. They sent me a whole box. They were grateful enough to do that. Gracious enough to do that. I was grateful that they did it. It ruled. I loved it. Sarah loved it. I sent some to Erica. She loved it. They got vegan, vegetarian, keto, calorie smart, protein plus meal options. No matter what your goals are, Factor can help you get there. Head to factormeals.com/metal50 and use code METAL50 to get 50% off. That's insane. 50% off. That's code METAL50 at factormeals.com/metal50 to get 50% off. Wow. Yes, well, I was sitting in a cave a couple hundred years ago and I came up with that. But that's what you do. You're like, everyone else seems fine, and then you feel like you're all fucked up. But everyone else is also fucked up. Yes. Right now, you are considerably more anxious than Alex or myself.
Yeah, this is not my normal situation.
No. Your normal situation is talking to nobody.
Yeah.
Just kind of staring at the phone. But
yes.
So when you were a kid, now your parents are divorced. When did that happen?
Yes, they got divorced. My transition from freshman year of college into sophomore year of college.
Transitioned. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
Erica was a man until 3 days ago.
Yeah.
That's what she's doing here in New York.
Yeah.
She was Eric. Wait, sorry. Say it again. You said transition. I had to make the joke.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why I use that word. Between freshman and sophomore year of college.
Oh, so that's very late.
Yes. And, when our parents when my dad explained to me why that was so much later than he would have wanted, was because he wanted me to be like an adult, to make decisions for myself. Oh,
that's really sweet. Now, so did you retroactively think, oh, my dad was miserable all those years and stayed together just for me?
Yes. Yeah.
Was there guilt involved? What was the feeling, I guess is what I'm asking.
Actually not guilt, more like, wow, that he did that he sacrificed his happiness, I guess, for stability for my sister and I.
Well, that's sweet. Isn't that what parenting really is I'm learning is sacrificing any amount of joy in life?
All of your joy. Yes.
No, we're kidding, of course. The kids might see this someday.
I know.
A lot of joy. We've had a great time.
Yeah.
We've had a blast this week without the kids. So there's plenty of joy. You just have to leave the kids behind.
Yeah. Reflect on your good times.
No, we don't want to say that. How joyful is having children? Tell the people.
I do love it. Being home has been my favorite thing with the kids.
With the
kids.
It's a great joy is what we're saying. But so when you're a kid, your parents are getting along, you feel good, you have a younger sister. Tell us about the home life, elementary school.
So I have a younger sister. She's 4 years younger than me. And growing up, I mean, we're just like a normal middle-class family.
Yeah.
And my mom, though, was an alcoholic, and looking back on, looking back like to my childhood, I'm like, oh yeah, she did always have like wine in her coffee mug, and she did always smell kind of like Chardonnay.
Okay, so she was a wine lady.
Yeah.
Wine mom. Red teeth?
Huh?
Red teeth?
No, I feel like she mostly stuck with white wine. And then once I was like...
White teeth.
in like probably the end of high school into college was when it really got bad, her alcoholism. And that's when she was more into like vodka and wine.
So I feel like you lucked out a little bit because it feels like your early childhood and stuff, when you really get fucked up and impressionable, your parents were together and your mother's drinking was minimal, it seems.
Yes. And it is interesting because just recently I feel like I've really become aware of like how different, even though my sister and I were raised in the same household until I went to college, we're very different and we have very different interpretations of our childhood, where mine is very much more, generally speaking, until I recognized my mom had like alcoholism, was very like rainbows and butterflies type of thing. Like, I don't remember my parents really ever fighting. Nothing traumatic seeming.
So you were just like cruising.
Yeah.
Life was good.
Life was good. Yeah.
So you didn't feel, I mean, what memories do you have of being like really anxious, or were you insecure or
insecure? Yeah. I think I just always been insecure my whole life. I don't know. I'm a quiet person.
And not like introverted?
I'm definitely introverted.
Right. Sorry.
I'm not like go out and like, I don't know, get crazy. I'm not the initiator of things, I guess.
Right. Yeah, you're a real follower, which is my favorite thing about you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for in a person. I'm like, you want to go do everything I want to do? And you're like, okay. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
I do that.
Yeah, that's what I want all my friends to be like. I hate when a friend is like, no, let's not do that. I'm like, fuck you, you're dead to me, you piece of shit. That's why I like, all these people. Sarah, you, Norman's another one. Just like, what if we did this? He's like, all right. Yeah. I'm like, perfect.
Yeah. I think I don't think that's a negative thing. I think that's a good thing sometimes.
No, of course. You're down to do whatever.
Yeah.
It feels like.
Yes.
But the negative part is if you don't have someone doing that, then you're not doing anything.
Exactly.
So it is.
Which is
pretty
a problem in our household sometimes.
It is pretty bad.
Yeah.
All right. I want to know more about your alcoholic mother. As an alcoholic, I'm fascinated by this. When is the first time you're noticing like, and is your dad drinking as well? Do they seem to drink both normally? And I want to know what you're drinking when we get there.
Sure. So my mom, I mean, I don't remember anything super specific, like as a kid, like a little kid, but when I was a teenager in high school, going out with my friends, I remember coming home and my mom would be like passed out on the couch and I'd be like, cause she'd want me to wake her up when I got home from going out, and I'd, shake her and be like, hey mom, I'm home. And then she would be so out of it. She would like just say random things where I was like, what are you talking about? And I remember this one time specifically because me and my sister were like died laughing about it at the time. but we like woke her up and she woke up and she's like, the lights, go get the lights. We're like, what?
Was she talking about Christmas? And why did she howl?
I don't know. I don't know. It was so weird. And like, we just died laughing and just left her there to sleep because there was no getting through to her.
But it sounds like it's fascinating because to me, it's quite traumatic to have an alcoholic mother, so especially one that's passing out and just yelling random shit, but it feels like it wasn't getting through to you. Do you think now later looking back that subconsciously there might have been stuff going on there? I also want to get to the bottom of why you're so insecure, because I know your dad, great dad, sweet dad, loving dad.
That's great. Mm-hmm.
Very handsome man, I might add. Cuban.
He is very handsome, yeah.
Straight out of Cuba, baby.
Well,
the Bronx, excuse me.
The Bronx.
But you know what I mean, whatever. Cuba.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, what was the question?
How did you get to be so insecure, and did you feel that was traumatic later? Because it feels like the whole time you're like, that's normal and fun and whatever.
Well, so I think more of the traumatic, I don't know. I don't really know why I'm insecure. I just know I am. I think more of the trauma from my mom being an alcoholic was more in my college years. Like once they divorced, then it really like reared its ugly head. Mm-hmm. And I mean, she would get blacked out drunk, and then just I would talk to her on the phone and she'd say really mean things, like, you know, she would call me like a spoiled brat, a spoiled bitch.
Wow.
She would tell me that my sister was the favorite daughter.
The thing about booze is
so much better than me, and what am I doing? And
that's what's
that kind of stuff.
That's one of those things about alcohol. It just makes you tell the truth. You know what I mean? It's this truth serum. That's fucking horrible.
Yes, and I do think I am very similar to my dad, like personality wise, and I think sometimes that really irritated her. And so because she was so upset with like the divorce stuff, and then when I would come to her house to visit, she would be, I would remind her of my dad, and then she would, you know, take her anger out on me. Right.
So this must have been happening though when you were a kid, because to be as insecure as you are, or that you're saying that you are, there must have been a lack of validation coming. So maybe she was drinking or thinking of you as a spoiled bitch, or maybe if she's seeing you later as a spoiled bitch, maybe when you were a kid, she's resenting you even as a child. You're taking the attention away from herself. I mean, alcoholics are self-centered to the extreme, as we say.
I mean, she definitely, I suspect my mom would go, you know, my dad would try and take her to therapy, and after the therapist would kind of start to make suggestions or diagnosis, you know, she would say, I need to find a new therapist. They don't know what they're talking about. So she's never really been diagnosed as anything as far as I was aware. But my suspicion is that she is like borderline personality disorder, narcissism, and probably maybe some, you know, being bipolar. And if not that, at least deep depression. Because she definitely was more on the depressive side, but she would have like these mania kind of episodes too.
So this is the thing I talk about all the time, and I've read about in the great book. There's a bunch of great books. It Didn't Start With You is an amazing one. And then Running on Empty is another great book. And then now I'm reading Adult Children of Immature Parents, which we were doing the list the other day, which was great.
I haven't read it, but I've heard of that one.
But I think it was Running on Empty is one of the ones that we take in as young kids, as babies, as children, that like if our parents are unhappy or miserable, which it seems like your mother probably was, even when you were a kid, depressed or drinking or just not present. Mm-hmm. As a young kid, you blame yourself. Like even if it's subconsciously, even if it's before you're committing memories, you're like thinking, I should be enough to make this person happy. And if they're unhappy, that must be on me. It reflects on me somehow. Because like, how is my existence not bringing them joy? Yeah. So if you're right in front of your mother and she's whatever, upset or not present, I can see how that would result in you being like, well, I have no value, so don't even worry about anything I'm saying. Yeah,
I think that it makes a lot of sense. I definitely am like a people pleaser. And yeah, if she's upset, then I'm sure I took that very personally, subconsciously.
Right. It's interesting you say you're a people pleaser, but you also feel like you can be like a bad bitch if you had to. You're a mom. I mean like,
yeah,
I feel like
think I've grown into that part of my personality a little bit.
Do you think parenting brings that out naturally?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, because
like
I feel
a
like
mama bear type of situation where if like someone messes with my little circle
Cubs.
of people, yeah, my cubs, my Derek, you, my
Derek.
sister.
Now Derek's a bear.
Like my circle of important people to me. If someone messes with them, I'm like, fuck them.
Yeah,
and
you go crazy.
I hate you, and yeah.
Now, and how do you feel about having a closetedly gay husband? Does that bother you at all? By the way, I've been doing this bit for 20 straight years that Erica's husband and I are gay together, and I actually think if I keep it going like straight enough, because for a long time I just tried to do it really straight. I'd be like, we fucked. Straight's the wrong word.
Yeah.
Like serious, earnest.
Yeah.
I was like, we fucked in college, and it was pretty wild.
Yeah.
Did it ever get through to you that maybe we did? Did you ever have that thought?
No.
No, damn. Because I really thought that was like going back to the early days. I was like, I feel like I could really push this, maybe.
No, I do. I have a quick story though.
About Derek being gay?
No, well,
Please.
just a funny. So when we were very first dating, his friend Carl Schmidt.
Yes, of course.
He was in town visiting, and we didn't live together yet. We were like newly dating, but I was staying the night at his house.
At Carl's or Derek's?
Derek's at his apartment.
Scandalous.
Like most every night at that point. And so Carl was in town, and he is like made a joke like, oh, hey, Carl's gonna sleep in the bed with me. And I was like, okay. Like in my head, I was thinking like, as a girl, like when I went to my girlfriend's house, we would sleep in the same bed, like not sexual or anything, but just kind of like hang out, girl time, chat,
Just scissor as friends.
and then fall asleep. And then like, I didn't think that was weird. So when you said that, I was like, oh, okay. And at the time I was in a fight with my roommate, so I didn't want to go back to my apartment. So I called my friend and I was like, hey, who was friends with Derek. I was like, Eric Watton.
Yeah, I love Eric. EW, same initials.
Yep. Yes. He said, or I texted him, I was like, hey, can I stay at your apartment tonight? Because Derek has a friend in town and I'm mad at my roommate right now. And he's like, yeah. And I had it all arranged. And then we were like, watching a movie, chatting. It was the end of the night. And I was like, all right, guys, well, I'll see you later. And Derek and Carl were like, what? And I was like, oh, well, I'm going to the Wattons' house, so I'll see you tomorrow. And they're like, what are you talking about? And I just assumed that they really were sleeping in the same bed together.
That's unbelievable.
In a non-gay way, though.
Also, it's just crazy. Like Abe Lincoln, I think, did that. Like the founding fathers would be like, so we'll sleep on it together and then sleep together. But also insane that even if Derek liked to sleep with his buddies, that he would be like, no, yeah, my buddy over you.
I know.
Like,
I don't know what I was
You know what I
thinking.
mean? Like he could still be like, no, you have the couch tonight because she has the bed. Like that's the ultimate bros before hoes. If you're like, you got to go home because he needs the space next to me.
I know. I don't know. I thought, I didn't think anything of it. I did think that was a little bit weird, but I didn't. I just went along with it. I was like, okay, well, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have fun.
Wow. That's a funny story that makes me sad for you. That you were just like, man, I guess whatever. I'm just with a gay man. But whatever. But anyway, so
yeah, sorry. That was a side.
Now, did you ever, your mother was an alcoholic years later. Did you know about adult children of alcoholics? There's Al-Anon. There's also adult children of alcoholic parents.
No.
I think that's what it's called.
So right before my parents got divorced, my dad brought my sister. I was living in the dorms at Long Beach State. And
shout out.
Yep.
You just paused like I was supposed to say something, but I don't know. Go Cats.
I don't know.
What are they?
Bags.
Dirt bags? Mm-hmm. All right.
And the 49ers. We had like 2 or 3 mascots, which was weird and confusing. But
it is confusing. And sounds incorrect also. But I'll look it up later.
It's right.
The football team comes running out.
We have
what
no
are they
football
called?
team there.
The baseball team.
Baseball.
They have a baseball team.
Baseball was dirt bags, yes.
Okay. Oh, so maybe just the baseball team
I
is the
think so.
Dirtbags. What's the
Because that
basketball
kind
team
of goes
called?
with them. The 49ers, I think.
Yeah, so it sounds like the baseball team was...
Or the Prospectors, maybe. I don't
called
know.
that.
That was a long time ago. Anyways.
Yeah.
So my freshman year, I was at the dorms and my dad brought my sister. And I think that was intended to be like the trip where he was going to tell us that he was divorcing our mom.
Okay.
And, but that he never really said that straight up. He just kind of was like, you know, we're having a tough time. I don't know if this is going to, you know, if things don't change, I'm going to have to do something different, but never like, I'm going to leave your mom.
Right.
So, shoot, I lost track of what I was talking about.
Al-Anon, adult children of
So
alcoholics.
during that visit, he gave me an Al-Anon book and, you know, kind of suggested, if you want to talk to someone like this, would be
really
good.
Sweet.
But I was 18 in college.
Didn't give a fuck.
And didn't care and was out drinking every night. So
right.
I wasn't really receptive to that at the time. And then just put that, I don't know. I'm sure I gave that book away because I don't know where it is. So.
Right. Or just lost it, whatever.
Yeah.
Now, was your drinking ever heavy? Were you ever thinking to yourself, oh my God, I'm turning into my mother? Or do you have any of that? Do you have that now?
Yes. So that is probably one of my biggest fears, is that I will turn into an alcoholic and my kids will feel, you know, not good about that like I did.
They call her Erica Articulate. My children no like me drunk. When I drink, my children bad happiness.
Yeah.
But you're not an alcoholic. I feel like you don't drink. Although we went out and drank pretty hard a couple times, I think. I think you and I only got to drink together a couple times.
Yeah. I think.
Just sad.
Well, yeah. I feel like a couple years.
Yeah, I guess it was a couple years. And your wedding, I was pretty fucking ripped.
Yeah. Everyone at our wedding was pretty wasted.
Yeah.
You did wake up with like pizza crusts everywhere and cakes in your
room. Tell the story about me going into your room on the night of the wedding, because that's a fun one.
So my cousins on my mom's side, it was like kind of tradition. Anytime anyone got married, they'd get your room key and they'd set it up, you know, kind of romantic with like candles everywhere and petals and, you know, just make it cute. But we always short sheeted your bed too. So that was like part of.
What's that mean?
You don't know what that means?
Short sheet a bed?
Yeah.
No. Lex, you know what that means? Yeah. No, men don't know what this means.
Oh, it's
short
like,
sheet?
Okay, you know, like the sheet. So you change it so it looks like.
Erica's like, you cut eye holes and you put a cross on the forehead. Short sheet.
You get the sheet cover. You know, like there's the comforter and then the sheet and then the fitted sheet. And you take the sheet, the flat sheet, and you fold it, but it makes it look like it's still a bed, like a made bed. But when you get in, then you like try to put your feet in and you can't because it's like folded up.
Oh.
And then like if you're
So it's like
drunk, it's like, yeah, it's like a little joke. And I don't know. It's just something like my cousins all did to each other at everyone's wedding. Anyways, so.
Woo. They must have them rolling the aisles. Okay, well, we'll cut that in post. That story sucked.
Sorry.
But I remember going in,
it was what it was.
It was
Anyways,
flowers,
so
yeah.
there's flowers and candles everywhere. And we went back and Joe was with us.
Yes, of course.
And we were dropping off like our whatever stuff we had at the wedding. And then we were going to a bar in the hotel to drink with everybody.
Yes.
And Joe walked in first.
I like keyed in the door and opened it, and it looked like the set of Ari Shaffir's Jew. It was just all candles, dildos, lube, everything. And I was like, shit.
You're like, oh, I messed up. I don't think I should be here.
I was like, I don't think this is for me.
But we were like, it's okay. Blow them all out. We're going back to the bar.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun wedding. And I think I told this story recently on Tuesdays. It was like a week-long wedding. I don't know if your friend's going to hear this, but it was like a week-long wedding. And you had one single friend. And you were like, you could. And I was single. And you're like, you could try to, you too, maybe. And I just was shy and insecure myself. Didn't speak to her once for 5 straight days. And then at 3:30 in the morning, the final night, I was like, Erica, is it too late to make a move on your friend? And then you go, yes. And I was like this, no problem. You got it. But I thought like maybe in the 11th hour, just take a crack. Just play it. Just playing my hand close to the chest, close to the vest. Anyways, I was very insecure too. But what was I going to say? Something about that. So I guess we drank a couple times. And then we have also the story where you're not used to snow. You're a California person.
Yes.
We were in West Seattle where you guys lived for many years. We miss it. R.I.P. West Seattle. Mm-hmm. And it was snowing. And were you driving initially? Because I think Derek and I were drunk.
We had all drinking. Derek was driving us home, but we lived on this very, very steep, like three street
Pigeon
hills.
Point for those from
Pigeon Point, little secret,
PNW.
Really wonderful neighborhood in West Seattle
that we miss
very much. So, it's steep. Like the first year we lived there, it snowed one weekend and people were skiing down the hill. Like that's how steep it was.
No, it's like this.
Yeah. And so Derek started and he's like, I can't do this. And then you said, oh, I'll do it.
Yeah. At the time, of course, drunk, asshole, idiot, fucking ego. I was like, you're a fucking bitch. Get me the fucking, you've been gone out of New England too long. When I drank, I really sounded like a Kennedy. I was like, you've been gone too long. I'll fucking show you how to do that. And I got in. Erica's literally lying and crying in the back seat. And I just went, we were fishtailing up the thing down. And then down, and then I would fucking gas it, and we would tear. And there's literally still, to this day, a big rubber, like 14-foot tire streak that is ours.
Yes.
And we were literally sliding back down the hill, and I was just fucking gassing.
And at the bottom of the hill was like one of the busiest streets.
A serious road. Yeah. And I was like, after like 3 tries, I was like, all right, we can't do that.
Yeah. So we parked it at the bottom and walked up. Yeah. But it was one of those like classic drunk things where you're like, you're a fucking homo. Let me get behind the wheel. And 8 seconds in, I'm like, no, it's ridiculous. 100% can't get up there. And by the way, it was like a Honda Civic or whatever. What kind? It was a Ford. Mazda.
Oh, it was the Mazda 3.
There was like no power anything, not even power windows. Like no power windows, no power locks, no 4-wheel drive, nothing.
No, we were just skidding down there. But that was a wonderful time. And I also stole a bunch of street signs and put them in your house.
That same evening, too, we went on a walk. It was like blizzardy, which was unusual for Seattle. And then Derek tackled me, remember, into the curb.
Oh, yeah.
And I cried.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, well, that's part of snow. And I was like, I don't do snow. So anyways.
Yeah, I do remember that. That was funny also. But no, it was great. And I stayed there for a month, and Derek would come home from work and I would be out smoking a cigar on the balcony with like Rockin' the Free World blasting full bar at like 10 a.m. And I was like, what's up, dude? And then like there'd just be smoke in the living room, which would later become the baby's bedroom.
Yep.
It was all
wonderful.
Great fun. And yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I did drink. I still do drink, but like very seldomly now. But at that time, like normal college dumb drinking.
Right. So you never...
I don't think I was ever out of control necessarily, but it was always in the back of my mind. And I think that's why I was able to like keep a lid on the alcohol,
right?
Because I didn't want to turn into my mom.
Yeah, it's funny because people tend to have one or the other. Say people like are abused, they become abusers, or they become very sensitive to that. It's similar with drinking, I feel like, which is abuse to yourself.
Yeah.
And then tell the story about when you got drunk and you slept with all the dirt bags from Cal State. The Cal State dirt bags.
Oh.
Just kidding. Long Beach. What were they called?
The dirt bags.
Dirt bags. Yeah. I wasn't sure if I got that right.
Yep.
But so then this nervous all the time. You think this is all from the lung thing?
No.
Blood clot?
I mean, I was nervous before then. No, I think so I do, it just actually popped in my head. When I was a senior in college and my mom that was probably like some of the beginning of the worst of her drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I would always worry anytime I didn't hear from her, she didn't call me, then I was like, oh my God, she's dead somewhere.
Right.
And then I started to have panic attacks, and I remember going to the ER then, a couple times, and they did like EKGs because I was like, I'm having a heart attack. I feel like I'm having a heart attack.
Well, we have this in common. We never even talk about this.
I know. And at the time, they just gave me a prescription of Xanax, and we're like, here you go.
Yeah. And
just take it whenever you're feeling like that. But I was feeling like that every day.
Right.
And I would take one, and I would just be like a zombie in our little recliner, and just be like, oh.
This isn't the time I knew you?
No, this is before I even met Derek.
Got you. You said our little recliner as though I'm familiar with it.
You're familiar
Sorry.
with it. No.
Yeah.
Me and my roommate, Holly, we had a recliner.
Holly.
Mm-hmm. And
Holly Jolly Christmas.
And
Buddy Holly. My buddy Holly.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
Use it. Thank you. Just here to spice things up.
So I would just sit after I take a Prozac or Xanax.
Xanax. Whoop, Freudian slip.
After I take a Xanax, and I would just like sit in the chair and like couldn't do anything, like just like zoned out on the TV. And I didn't like that feeling either, because that felt like very out of control.
Right.
So I just stopped taking that, and then just ignored the situation altogether. And I don't know that I really did anything to make it stop. I just suffered with it, and just assumed that everyone suffered with worrying.
Worrying, I think, but it can get to a disordered place,
which I was
obviously.
Probably in a disordered place at that point.
Yeah, because I mean, it's hard to think, because many people don't have that, although more people do now more than ever, I think, because of social media and the way we are.
Yes.
But yeah, it is weird when you talk to people. I try to do a joke like this. I'm like, don't you hate that feeling? I try to do a joke about the failed joke, because like comedy's all about getting people to relate. And I would do a thing where I'm like, don't you hate when you get up in the middle of the night to take a piss and like you're just like wicked suicidal? And people were like, what? And I was like, oh,
you're not.
Never mind. But I still have that. Like I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, oh God, I should just kill myself. But it goes away in the morning, sort of.
That's sad.
Good friend. Thank you. Yes, it is. It is sad. But you get.
I've never felt like that though, where I've been like, I should just kill myself. I just am like, I don't like feeling out of control of anything, and so I try to fix whatever I can.
Now, how do you work on this though? Do you go to therapy? Do you meditate? Does any of your friends send you lots and lots of meditations?
I have a really wonderful friend that sends me lots of meditations.
Thank you. And like some kind of psychology podcast where they talk about this thing, maybe even sends you books randomly via Amazon for you to read.
Yeah.
You ever have any of that at all?
I do, yes. Yeah. Thankfully, Joe does do that for me.
And you don't do anything with them, but that's okay.
Well, no, I listen to the little meditation stuff and some of the podcasts. Not all of them, sorry.
Okay.
I always intend to read the books. I have a book, well, not a book that you gave me, but another psychology book in my bag that I've not read since I've been here.
Great. What are you reading? It's TikTok?
Yeah.
Have you ever read the book How to Break Up with Your Phone?
No, but I have it.
Nice. How'd you get it? By the way, check out the Catherine Price episodes. 2 Catherine Price episodes. One, her book The Power of Fun, and one, How to Break Up with Your Phone. Both great books. I need to read them now, which I was just saying, don't you find this? I think we actually agree, but we can have the conversation now on camera. And I was talking to Norman about this on Tuesdays with Stories. It's like, you think like, when I have my baby, the phone's going out the window, forget about it. Now I'm all focused on the baby. But with a newborn, at least, I don't know what your excuse is, but your kids are 25 and 30. But I'm like, just at home, you have the baby sleeps on me. So he sleeps in my arms. And then I really do sit and take it in and feel present. And I listen to him breathe, and he coos and caws. And it's wonderful. And our hearts are next to each other. And it is the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced, other than anal sex. But then all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, after like 15 minutes, the kid's napping for 2 hours. It's like, I can't I'm not the fucking Dalai Lama. I can't just sit and look at the baby. So after a while, you're like, all right, let me look at my phone and do a couple things. You have shit to do.
Yeah.
and you have the stuff you have to do, and then you're like, all right, well, I'll just scroll because I'm sitting here and I don't want to get up because the baby will wake up.
Yes.
So
I do feel like that is why I am so addicted to my phone at this point, because I've had 2 kids, and same thing. I would try to be present, but you can only do that for so long, and then your phone is just right there and it's easy, and I have it quiet, and then I can just scroll through everything. And now I just haven't cut that habit.
It's very hard.
My children are 11 and 7.
No, it's very hard, and they have us. It's not like that's something that everybody is dealing with.
Yes.
Because it's like the science that they use for
Algorithm stuff.
Algorithm, but the same fucking shit for, I can't think anymore because I don't sleep, but what do you call it? These things, slot machines. It's like a slot machine thing.
Yeah.
Like they have the same kind of technology and system, and they just have us by the balls, and it's for us personally. And I always talk about this. It took them a long time to like figure out my algorithm, and they finally were like, give them Martin Scorsese, Woody Allen, and baseball and hockey fights. And I'm like, oh, I love it. Because before they were sending me like women, and I was like, I'm not into I don't know these women. What do I give a shit? And then they were like, Woody Allen? I'm like, I don't like it. Which I assume yours is all makeup and eyelashes or bullshit. Or
yeah, so mine is a lot of beauty tips and tricks.
Right.
I have gotten into yoga in the last year, which I think has really helped with my anxiety, actually.
Oh, good. Yes, you're doing daily yoga.
I do daily yoga. Yeah,
for
nightly.
8 minutes. Then you come back.
Yeah.
Come back. No sweat whatsoever.
I try to do like 30 minutes minimum a day, usually at night before bed.
Yeah.
And then that's it, though.
Yeah. Now, what about therapy? No therapy in your life?
So my younger sister, once our parents got divorced, she had a really tough time. And she is actually a borderline personality disorder.
Okay.
And she was in therapy a lot. I think even like her last year of high school, she was going almost every day. And so
wow.
I was in town one week, and I went with her. She asked me to go with her, and I did. And I feel like my dad is Cuban, Hispanic, and I feel like they're not really super into therapy.
Right.
And then
look at that Catholicism.
And then
I feel like
and then my
Latino and Irish Catholicism is very similar.
My mom is like German Catholic, Czech Catholic, I don't know.
Yeah.
So
you want him
I
to
feel
check?
like
Hello, folks.
So I feel like on both sides, it wasn't really encouraged, to do therapy. So I kind of had this like resistance when I went with my sister. I was just going because my sister needed me to go with her.
Mm-hmm. That's very nice of you.
And I went to 1 hour.
And did she come off critical to you, the therapist, or your sister, or what?
No, honestly, I don't really remember.
You were drunk?
Specific. Yeah, I was drunk. No. It just seems so long ago. I feel like it was more like she was including me with my sister. I feel like we talked a lot about our mom.
Right.
During it, and her drinking at the time.
Now, it's always interesting to me because I get this all the time. This never occurred to me, and there's certain things that like you just have a blind spot to, and this is not like a virtue signal. I just never thought it was weird or embarrassing or shameful or therapy. Mm-hmm. So like I talk about therapy a lot on this show, obviously, and on other podcasts, and I get messages from people all the time like, thanks for talking about therapy. You're brave. We need this. Mm-hmm. Taking down the stereotype or the walls. And to me, it's very odd. I mean, obviously, I'm very open about everything. It's also like I talk about having herpes or being an alcoholic, but those feel more taboo and weird than like therapy. I don't understand the taboo behind therapy. Like, do you any idea what that is or that feeling?
I don't know why. I don't know why it is feeling. I understand. I feel like it is a taboo thing. But I do think like in culture in the last, couple years, the focus on self-care is like so important.
Yes.
So I do feel like therapy is becoming not like a weird thing to do, I guess.
Well, now, as we've talked about off air. But like now there's just so much value in having something wrong with you. And
yes,
I don't want to say victim always, but like this feeling of like, oh, I'm autistic or Asperger's, or
you got to categorize yourself into like a less than, or I don't know if less than is like a right word, but like a difference.
Right. Which I feel like it's a lot of it's because of the use of privilege. Everyone's privilege, check your privilege is now people like, well, I don't want to be
privileged
in that thing. Yeah. So, hey, I got smacked twice by a dog when I was 6 and I'm sad.
Yes. I do feel like we're going in a weird direction that way.
Right. But so are you very opposed to therapy for yourself?
I'm not opposed. It's just one of those things. I guess deep down I am like a little scared that they're gonna be like, you're crazy. And
that's not really what happens
issues.
There. Is that what you think therapy?
I don't know. I guess I'm just saying subconsciously I think that's why I haven't done it. But I did, it's the end of the year, so I'm reflecting on what I would like to change in my life next year.
Sure.
Which is why I did yoga this whole year.
Great.
That was my last year thing.
Nice.
So this year I do want to like focus on my mental, spiritual health, all of that kind of stuff. So I would like to, in the new year, look into therapy.
Yes, I think you should. I think that's great. And I think you should because it'll help you. I saw you make a face that you were like, well, what the fuck? But also it's like, you've already been diagnosed with general anxiety disorder.
Right.
And you obviously have panic disorder as well. And you're nervous all the time.
Diagnosed by that. It's like by my general doctor.
Yeah, that's all it takes. Also, generalized anxiety disorder is not something you need to like have an x-ray.
Right.
If you're nervous 99% of the time, you can probably be like, yeah, you have general anxiety disorder. I mean, if you're walking around anxious, then you have general anxiety disorder.
Yeah, yeah.
Which, some of these things, it reminds me of my therapist, Alan, who you're familiar with, obviously, from us talking. But I talk about this all the time. I was like, yeah, when I was in there, this is years ago, I was like, I think I have fucking OCD. And like, I'm literally can't stop blinking and I eat the same meal every day. And I was like, I never got diagnosed. And he was like, you need somebody to tell you you're obsessive and compulsive, which is such a great point where I was like, oh, I guess. And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have obsessive compulsive disorder. He's like, you keep blinking and tapping yourself the same amount of times, and you don't step on cracks. Like, I think we can cross this one off the list. Yeah. So, anyways, if you're nervous all of the time, I would say you have it. But, and I say that all the time in therapy too. I'm like, I'm crazy. I'm a fucking crazy person. And then he just calmly says, okay, so you're crazy. What are we gonna work on? What are we doing? It's all acceptance. And we talked about this earlier when we had a long conversation. We always have great conversations, by the way. I love talking to you.
We do. I love talking to you too.
But I was saying there's an old quote. There's a what do you call that when it's not oxymoron, but a when this has to catch 22, but like
double-edged sword?
No, what's that term? A parable, a paradox.
Oh, okay.
It's a real paradox that it's only when you fully accept yourself for who you are that you're able to change.
Yes.
It's like you can't change yourself if you're always fighting who you are, what you are. If you're like, I want to be a person who doesn't look at my phone, I guess I can't be this person. You're never going to not be that. You have to go, I am a person that looks at my phone fucking 10 hours a day. Mm-hmm. And it sucks, but that's who I am and that's what I do. It really is only then that you can start to work on it, that you've accepted that's who you are.
I like that. That's very wise.
And other things. Well, this is not, again, I didn't come up with this, but wisdom is only acquired knowledge, right?
Yeah.
What was I going to say? I had this with my therapist too, because sometimes I'm like, he talks about accepting, and I'm like, I don't want to accepting, I'm miserable. He's like, but accepting it doesn't mean you can't change it.
Yeah.
That's the first step in changing, as step one in Alcoholics Anonymous is accepting that you have a problem.
Yeah.
Admitting that you have a problem anyways. I don't know where I was going for that. I'm used to professional podcasters where I would just volley over and then they would start talking. They would be like, oh, he just stopped. Let me get in there.
Yeah, sorry.
Podcasting, also known as conversing.
I guess I could just talk normal.
Yeah, just talk normal. I'm taking a sip. Take over.
Oh, God. Okay. Well.
Do you have any questions?
I don't-
Oh my God, look at the time. We're almost there. Home stretch. How do you think this is going?
I feel like better than I thought I was going to do.
Oh,
I don't
really?
know. How do you think?
I think it's wonderful. I think it's great. Lex is loving it back there.
Is
He's
this
really
going
nodding.
okay?
I think this is great. No one's going to listen because they're going to be like, Erica,
fuck is
what?
that?
Okay, fuck that. But we'll put in the thing like almost died, lung.
Oh, yeah,
So how did you get
lung
over it? You just got off the baby control, birth control. Yeah, I can't.
Got off the birth control.
Baby control sounds like a group of people that runs around
No, I
shooting
got off
mothers.
the birth control, switched up birth control to a different one that doesn't cause blood clots.
Right.
And I was on blood thinners to make sure I didn't have that for like a year. Now I only take them when I'm traveling, like long distance, like cross country.
Yes.
And then, yeah, so after I went to the ER because I thought I was having a heart attack, after that was when they put me on Zoloft.
Right. Oh, yeah. So, you're on antidepressants. I mean, we should talk about that.
I'm on antidepressants, yeah. And
how do you
I was
like
kind
that?
of nervous about that because I feel like that has a really like bad stigma also, or it did at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I feel like it's been life-changing for me.
Oh, wow.
Because I remember it was like about like a month after I started taking it where I was like, oh, I can like breathe and not be like,
You're
it just
getting that
took,
in your...
oh, sorry. It just took my like anxiety down a notch.
Right.
Where it was like more manageable and I could talk myself off the ledges instead of like before where I was like, oh my God. And then feeling like I was having a heart attack.
Right. Yeah, it's always weird. I never know because I was on Paxil for years, which was antidepressant anxiety thing. And then I just kind of got myself off because I just didn't want to be on drugs. But so I don't know. And I feel better now than I did then, but I'm putting in a lot more work. And I was also a fucking drunk maniac whose life was in shambles then. So it's hard for me to know. But I'm a big believer in whatever is working.
Right. I did just talk with my doctor a couple months ago about, or I guess 2 months ago, about maybe getting off of it because I've been feeling really good. I feel like with yoga and like a little bit of meditation that I am able to keep myself pretty level headed,
Right.
and not let my thoughts go too wild. But when talking about it with my sister, she was like, I think that's great. She's like, but also keep in mind, we live in the Pacific Northwest where it's the winter time and it's dark like forever.
Oh boy.
Sarah, don't listen to this.
Erica's just been making a push to get Sarah and I to move to the Pacific Northwest, which I'm always alluding to myself because I love you and your husband and your children very much.
Thanks.
Reverse order. Completely flip that order if you want to rank it. But that fourth, it's pretty good.
I guess.
But yeah, it's like that's one of the things I worry about. It's pitch black at fucking 3 p.m. I was just talking to Luke Monis, your friend, my friend, past guest, one of my favorite people, comedians, and he was like, he's from Portland, Oregon. He's like, I distinctly remember being in school, talking to his buddy, being like, it's crazy, it's nighttime.
Yeah, it is tough. This time of the year is tough because it is dark. I mean, the sun sets literally at 4 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And then it doesn't rise until like 8 o'clock in the morning. So it is a lot of dark time. But
and it's raining also.
Not all the time. Sometimes. Most of the
Much
time.
of the time.
A lot of the time.
Yeah.
But December 21st, it switches. It starts getting lighter and lighter. So December 21st is like my favorite day because then I'm like, sweet, we're like done with the dark depressive time. And it's going to start getting lighter, and it's nice how quick you start to notice it too.
And it's Christmas, and in the summer it's bright out till like literally 10
and
p.m.
it's like that's my favorite time of year because I get so much done. We're outside all day.
Right.
It's really nice. It is worth the torture of the winter darkness.
Right. Now, do you do gratitude lists? Because you have pretty incredible life. You have a husband who's literally the funniest person I've ever met, and I know the funniest people on the planet.
Yeah.
So you have the funniest husband ever. I know he hits you and screams at you and everything, but you have 2 wonderful, healthy children who are also hilarious.
Yes, they're very funny.
And you're a person that laughs a lot, and you have 3 hilarious people in the house.
I laugh a lot.
Yes.
And that's my favorite thing to do. Yeah, actually, you had suggested this a couple months back, doing a gratitude list every day. And I did start putting it in my phone, and then I kind of just forgot.
Yeah.
It's
same.
hard. It's hard to keep remembering. I don't know why.
But you can do it in your head. Well, it's hard to form new habits, but you can do it in your head.
Yeah.
And you don't have to work at all. You do absolutely nothing.
Nothing. That's why I'm here all week long.
All day.
Just holding the baby.
Yeah. Volunteering to help my baby, which you're not really doing much of, but we're having a good time.
Yeah.
And so you have a beautiful, wonderful life, and you didn't die. Yeah. You almost died. You didn't die.
Yeah. No, I love my life. I feel like it's wonderful.
Which, by the way, we should mention also this hilarious story that, and I feel like you forget the story because you're living your own life, but I heard it shortly after, is that your husband, my best bud, we'll have to get him on the show sometime. Mm-hmm. He was in the parking garage of the hospital and hadn't eaten in like days. And so he was stressed and freaking out because he had the kids and his wife was dying. And so I forget what he was eating, like chicken wings or something.
Chicken tender.
And he straight up was choking on the chicken tender
in the garage.
Almost died in the garage of the hospital while his wife was dying, which I almost owned 2 kids.
Yes, you did.
Which would have been fun, which I keep saying this, you should get that in writing, because if both of you died, no one's going to be like, you know who we should get these kids?
Joe.
That comedian that makes 700 jokes about having sex with children and has no relation whatsoever to these human beings. No offense, Allie, I'm taking the kids, but anyways, by the way, I feel like Allie would shit her pants if I was like, no, I'll take them.
I do feel like that might be a touchy subject for all
Should we cut this?
Siblings involved.
Well, Derek's sister's not getting them, God damn it. She already took my heart. She's not taking my kids. It's a very incestuous group we have. Anyways, you don't have to leave your kids to me. I get it. I get the feeling. I get the vibe. I get the energy.
No,
They'll stay out there.
I feel like I
with
can't
your
commit
sister.
to any of these.
They can go with your sister, who's a mom and lives down the street. All right, you know what? You don't get my kid if we die.
What?
If Sarah and I commit suicide like we promised each other, you are not getting our baby. I'm giving him to Lex.
Okay. Oh no.
I know that's not going to pick up on kid. We're going to wrap up. Speaking of which.
Okay.
This friendship, I mean.
Oh.
I can't keep doing this. No, this has been wonderful. And how do you feel? You feel okay? Were you happy with the podcast?
Yeah, I hope I did okay.
You did wonderful.
This was fun. I feel like we could start our own podcast.
Well, I've been saying this. Sarah and I
have
moved there.
some tips to learn, though. I didn't recognize the passing off situation.
Yeah, it's a volleyball game. You're familiar?
Yes, I am very familiar.
And also, I say this, if Sarah and I move there, we could get Derek and Sarah in here. You're like the person on the Tom Green show that sits behind us, just laughs, doesn't get to say anything.
I could definitely do that.
And Derek is very funny, although I'm worried he would just clam up.
I know. But I pulled it together, I
think. You
did,
yeah. And
I feel like I'm worse than he is at that kind of stuff.
At what? At everything? I agree.
Talking to people.
Boy, I don't know. That's a tough one. Who is worse at talking to people?
At our wedding, at my wedding, me and Derek's wedding,
mm-hmm.
I could not build up the confidence to thank everyone for coming to the wedding.
Oh, you mean like on the microphone or whatever?
Yeah, all of the people all of my family and friends, I literally knew every single person there. And even that, I was like, I can't, you have to do this.
Well, public speaking is obviously very difficult, which is different than a podcast.
I took a public speaking class in college and cried every single time I gave a speech and had to run out of the room.
Oh, wow.
I know. I don't
we
know
should
how
have got
I
into
passed.
that.
I don't know how I passed that class, but I did.
I mean, that's like a serious psychological problem.
Yeah, I don't like to be the center of attention at all.
Wow, interesting.
I like to be in the background.
Yeah, that's where we would put you.
Yeah, perfect.
It'll be a great show. It'll be a hit show. And I'll just have to take a fucking $15,000 a month pay cut to quit Tuesdays with Stories and move to the most depressing place on earth just to hang out.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? One of my favorite things ever, Sarah and I talk about this all the time, and I think Derek said it, we like to fart over at your house a lot, the kids, all of us. And then I think your daughter was going to like a sleepover or something like that. And we laughed at the idea. Derek had to like get on a knee and explain to her, we are a fart family. Not everyone else is a fart family.
We are a fart family.
I also want to add, this is another hilarious line. I always sleep in Brooke's room, and I take over her bedroom, and I'm just in a child's bedroom, which is hilarious. And then this is like years ago. She was like 5 years old, and she goes, I just want to let you know you're sleeping in a booger bed. And then Derek goes, yeah, well, you're actually sleeping in a booger house. Great line. And then another great Brooke line. One time we were hanging out, and she's probably maybe 4 years old, and we're hanging out. You're asleep on the couch. I would come to visit, and Erica would just go to bed, which I haven't done once while you were here. But
I have offered that you can sleep. You have not taken me up on it.
anyways, because I want to hang out with you. I like you.
I do too.
So I'm hanging out with Brooke, and she goes like this, and I don't interrupt because the timing is crucial. She goes, your breath is bad. It's always bad.
She's
like, she was
honest.
like, don't even think about making an excuse. Like, she could see in my face I was going to be like, well, I haven't. She's like, it's always bad. Stop it. And then we FaceTime with her the other day, and she said my baby has a huge forehead.
Yeah, that was her first comment.
She's like, his forehead's huge. That's crazy.
She is very sweet. She comes across.
Oh yeah, she's the
a little
sweetest.
Spicy.
Oh, she's my favorite woman on the planet.
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks for listening. Thanks for being on the show,
Yes,
Erica.
thank you. That was
I love
fun.
you, and you're wonderful.
I love you too.
And check out the show, subscribe, spread the word, tell a friend. If you listened to this, you loved it, put it on Reddit and Twitter and Instagram. Great new episode. And I got a bunch of dates coming up where I'm going to be in Austin, February 8th through the 10th, Mothership, Tacoma.
Visiting
She'll be
us.
there.
Yep.
January 11th through the 13th. I'll be looking for houses while I'm there. And then Poughkeepsie, January 19th and 20th. March, I'm at the Pittsburgh Improv, March 28th to the 30th. And go to punchuplive.com or Comedian Joe List, either way. And then check out the specials. They're all on YouTube. And that's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.